Hello everyone, this is Dr. Joe Dione. In this video, we are going to discuss grief, some of the stages of grief, and ways to cope with grief. The American Psychological Association defines grief as the anguish experienced after significant loss, usually the death of a loved one. Grief often includes physiological distress, separation anxiety, confusion, yearning for that individual who was lost, obsessive dwelling on the past, and possibly apprehension about the future. While everyone experiences grief differently, Elizabeth Kubler-Ross described the 5 stages of grief in her 1969 book entitled On Death and Dying. Although Kubler-Ross's work focuses on grief responses from people who are dying, many use these stages to understand grief across multiple types of loss, including the death of a loved one. The stages include denial, where someone may be having difficulty accepting that a loss of a loved one is real. Anger, where someone may direct anger at multiple sources, which could include people who were unable to save the loved one, such as doctors and nurses, God, themselves, others, or maybe no one in particular in just a situation in general. Bargaining is a stage where they might imagine that there could have been a different outcome if they had done something else. Maybe, if I had gone with them to the doctor, maybe it would have been a different outcome, for example. Depression is when someone experiences the complex emotions associated with depression that could include emotional detachment. Acceptance is where many individuals often embrace the reality of loss, even if pain is still present. Many people reduce these stages to linear steps that everyone must experience through their grief. However, the stages were never intended to be rules. Not everyone who grieves experiences these stages, and they don't have to happen in any particular order. After the death of a loved one, some individuals experience what is known as survivor's remorse or survivor's guilt. This is when grief may make one feel remorse about a past event. Perhaps they did not feel as present in that individual's life, or maybe there was an argument and a falling out that was never resolved prior to the individual's death. The grief may make someone feel guilty that they are still alive. Why am I here and they are not? Maybe they lived a healthier lifestyle and I don't understand why they died and I didn't. Or one may blame themselves for what occurred prior to a death. This often happens if someone is unable to make it to the emergency room or to someone's hospice bed prior to them passing, and they feel guilt that they weren't able to say goodbye prior to the individual dying. While there is no one-size-fits-all method of coping with the loss of a loved one, there are some things that we can do to assist us in coping with grief. The first is to practice self-care. We want to take care of our mind and body while we are grieving, making sure we have plenty of sleep, exercise, and get proper nutrition. And we want to make sure that we are caring for ourselves and that we don't feel guilty about it. Sticking to a routine can be helpful so that grief is not able to interrupt our sense of normalcy. And sticking to a routine is a great way to regain a sense of control and regulate our emotions. Attending to those emotions is also important, and we want to resist the urge to try to distract ourselves. Grieving requires dealing with painful emotions, and we should not be ashamed to cry. Sometimes journaling or telling stories to others can be a great way to attend to our emotions while we are grieving. We also do not want to hesitate to reach out to others, friends and family that maybe did know the individual or maybe did not but had a similar experience or a similar loss, and we can talk to them as we are managing our grief. Additionally, there are many professionals that we can seek out help from, such as a therapist, a grief counselor, or a clergy member. I hope you found this information helpful, and I wish you and your loved ones a safe and healthy summer.